small path of human nature, enjoying life along the way. To walk the great way of life. First, we must understand the origins of life, the cycle of reincarnation, and life's various realms. Without grasping these concepts, our lives will be lost in confusion. Where did I come from? Where am I going? Without direction or goals, we'll spend a lifetime going in circles, ending up with nothing but fleeting illusions. What value or meaning is there in that? Walking the great way of life. Neither mystical methods nor techniques constitute the way. There are no fixed rules. There are countless paths, and each path may lead to heaven. However, each path may also lead to hell. How can we be sure that the path we practice leads to heaven and not hell? Whether it's this practice or that one, these are merely tools. How do we know if what we're learning is not sorcery or witchcraft, but rather celestial or Taoist techniques? Moreover, words and scriptures are not the way. The Bible, the Quran, Buddhist sutras, the Tao Te Ching, and the writings or lectures of any master are not the way. These are all fingers pointing at the moon, but focusing on the finger will never let us see the moon. We must learn to read the sky, the earth, people, objects, and phenomena. We must learn to comprehend through Zen enlightenment, to awaken, and to sense deeply. Likewise, the guide is not the way either. The guide is not the scenic destination, but merely a living finger pointing the way. Have you truly understood this? Each of us knows this truth within our own hearts. The study of life is not a gamble. It cannot be approached with the mindset of a gambler. Some say, if you just believe, you will gain life. If that were true, does it mean anyone who believes can win in a casino? Or that if you believe hard enough, jumping from a tall building won't harm you? Others claim, if you chant a mantra daily, you'll be reborn in the Western Pure Land. If that were true, could we say that eating ginseng daily will guarantee long life and immunity to disease? Or that bathing daily will make one's skin as smooth as jade? Without investigating the principles and instead clinging to lucky hopes, unwilling to take steady, practical steps, always looking for shortcuts to instant success, where does such a wonderful thing exist? The study of life is an exact science. There is no room for ambiguity or chance. Every step must be taken with precision, and every detail must be thoroughly understood. Thus, life must walk the great way, not the small path. To walk the small path of life. The path most people follow is repetitive and monotonous. For thousands of years, it has remained the same. We are born, go to school, study more, find a job, buy a house, get married, have children, watch them grow up, retire, and wait for death. This entire process can be imagined without ever experiencing it. Why bother following the same steps as everyone else? Life is a journey, just a process for life. Whether you repeat others' paths or blaze a new trail through uncharted jungles, the outcome is still death. So why not focus on enjoying every moment and aspect of life? I advocate that life is but a dream. All is emptiness. Fully experience it without regret. Confucius didn't understand the meaning of following the heart's desires without overstepping boundaries until he was 70, too late. Can you still follow your desires at 70 when you've lost all your teeth and can't even bite into an apple, let alone dry beans? How can you follow your heart's desires then? So, life should walk the small path. Dare to take roads others have not taken. If everyone goes to the desert, I'll go to the forest. As long as it brings me joy and doesn't harm others or society, why must I follow others' paths? If I have a headache, will you suffer for me? Every person is unique, and no two things in this world are exactly alike. Therefore, life's paths should not be forced into uniformity but should be diverse and colorful. Life is short, but life is everlasting. Let our brief life be rich, colorful, and filled with joy, while our long-lasting life remains ever hopeful and full of infinite dreams. Onward! With joy and happiness, let us climb toward the highest realm of life, the celestial islands continent of the Elysium world. 丰富自己的内涵, enrich your inner self. Xiefeng. Solomon's treasure captivates us because it contains rare gems, while nature's extraordinary beauty lies in its endless variety. Supermarkets attract customers with their dazzling array of goods, and a wise person seems unfathomable due to their rich inner world. In Revelation chapter, I wrote an article titled, Simplicity plus Purity equals Beauty. This simplicity does not mean barren, lifeless, dull, or devoid of charm. It certainly does not imply being completely exposed, and even less does it refer to being simple-minded or foolish. Rather, simplicity means having a rich and orderly inner world, with a pure and beautiful heart that captivates and delights others, drawing them in to linger. A remarkable piece of writing doesn't rely on fancy words, and a person of great character reveals only their true nature. Only when someone has a rich inner world can they attain greatness in the most ordinary way. Greatness in the ordinary can be an illusion. Pure ordinariness is too simple. Only after crossing mountains, rivers, deserts, and peaks can one finally rest in a kind of ordinariness that is truly exceptional. In the legend of Jigong, Jigong is wealthier than any billionaire. He is so simple. His shoes are worn, his hat is worn, his robe is also worn. Yet we can never guess how much treasure he holds. He seems to have nothing, but can turn stone into gold. He appears inactive yet accomplishes everything. One could say Jigong's inner world is extraordinarily rich. Some religious teachers instruct their followers to enter only one gate, read only one scripture, worship only one master, and seek only one form of power. I disagree. If I were a master, I would first encourage my disciples to experience all religions, read every scripture, follow various masters, practice different methods, explore unconventional paths, and taste wild fruits. Only in this way can they gain great wisdom, discern right from wrong, navigate with ease, discover new paths, and ultimately find peace, returning to the state of the infant, to the boundless, and to ordinariness. In other words, don't just read Marxism. Also read the Bible and Buddhist scriptures. Otherwise, you'll remain stuck in one-sided prejudice. Scientists should learn some spiritual knowledge, and Christians and Muslims should read Buddhist texts. Tibetan Buddhist practitioners could explore teachings from the New Age, like those from Seth and Oren. Those who read the Tao Te Ching could experience Osho's life and listen to conversations with God. Qigong practitioners should study feng shui, face reading, astrology, palmistry, onomastics, and the principles of yin-yang and the 5 elements. Yoga practitioners could delve into the I Ching. Fortune tellers and spiritualists should learn about quantum physics and the holographic universe. Those who study astronomy and seek extraterrestrial life could explore the vast and wondrous non-material world. Those engaged in meditation and self-cultivation should try practices like Zhonggong, Falun Gong, Natural Gong, Xuanji Gong, Tai Chi, and other unconventional methods. Seekers who endlessly spin around abstract concepts should occasionally play in the mud with children. There's Tao in mud play too. Astute merchants see profit everywhere, while wise sages with enlightened eyes find Zen in everything. Eating, drinking, sleeping, playing cards, and even mahjong are all methods of practicing Tao. Flashes of spiritual insight appear everywhere. In short, enrich your inner self. Plants grow strong with sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, but they also need nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. A mature life depends on the greatest creator, the Tao, and a richly developed inner world. Simplicity is beautiful, but simplicity without knowledge is not only unappealing, it can even be ugly. The mysteries of nature are wrapped in layers. The merciful greatest creator cares for simple creatures and rewards explorers who fearlessly climb. The simpler life is, the better, but the more complex the mind, the better. When we have a rich inner life and appreciate the wonders of both the material and non-material worlds, even simple food like cornbread becomes much sweeter. Going from simplicity to complexity, and then from complexity back to simplicity, these two types of simplicity are worlds apart. A glass of water is just a glass of water in the first simplicity, but in the second simplicity, it becomes a rich, colorful world full of wonders. Similarly, a person without inner richness is merely a moving object. But a person with a rich inner self is like a magnificent palace filled with rare treasures. Who would want to interact with a person devoid of thought? Not many. Why? Because they're too monotonous. Monotony leads to boredom, and boredom is uninteresting. From the outside, people may seem similar apart from a few differences in appearance. But once you explore their inner world, the differences are vast. There are endless chapters to read, life experiences to explore, landscapes to see, and flavors to savor. A person with rich inner content is fascinating. You might even want to devour them. When people say, "I love you to death," they might be expressing this feeling. The difference between people lies in their thinking abilities. I divide thinking into 8 types: material thinking, image thinking, associative thinking, illusory thinking, visualized thinking, taiji thinking, formless thinking, and holographic thinking. Each type of thinking is a different realm. The stronger your thinking ability, the closer you are to celestial beings, Buddhas, and gods. But to reach higher realms, the best method is to first enrich your inner self. Without ingredients like oil, salt, soy sauce, vinegar, star anise, Sichuan pepper, cinnamon, cloves, galangal, and black pepper, it's hard to cook a delicious meal. Dear ones, enrich your inner self. 将人生交给到安排. Surrendering life to the Tao's arrangement. Xiefeng. Even the 4 greatest souls, life, and life mentors in human history faced helplessness. Jesus Christ was crucified. This was both tragic and an act of helplessness. Buddha, Sakyamuni, was powerless against the future disciples' deviation from his teachings. The Prophet Muhammad was helpless as his successors fell into infighting and mutual slaughter. The sage Laozi voiced his frustration. My words are easy to understand and easy to practice, yet no one in the world can understand or practice them. He departed, riding a green ox through Henggu Pass, seeking his own path to enlightenment. Even Mao Zedong, a great leader with absolute authority and a heart devoted to serving the people, ultimately faced helplessness. Humans are like drops of water in the vast ocean, drifting with the tides. Life is a small program within the grand program of the universe, bound to its laws. In the face of earthquakes and tsunamis, we are helpless. When confronted with death, we are helpless. In parting from our loved ones through life and death, we are helpless. And in the face of the changing times, we too are powerless. All we can do is accept life as it comes, adapt to our circumstances, act in harmony with our nature, and seize opportunities as they arise. 64 major factors shape the trajectory of our life. When these combine and rearrange, they create billions of possibilities. Our limited lives cannot grasp all these mysteries. Even the mighty Monkey King could not escape Buddha's palm. Instead of struggling in vain, it is wiser to follow the Tao. Surrendering our lives to the Tao's arrangement is the wisest choice. Let fortune and misfortune, longevity and premature death be guided by the Tao. Leave hardship and adversity to the Tao. Don't force anything, don't cling to anything, don't envy or covet, don't resent the heavens or blame others. Do not become discouraged. Instead, praise the sun and the grass, drift with the breeze, move with the water, and find joy whenever you can. Treat each day as if it were your last. Does this sound too passive? No, this is the path to ultimate freedom and happiness found in returning to simplicity. The mountains remain the same, the rivers still flow, the green hills endure, and life leaves no trace. Sitting in the shade of a tree, legs crossed, drinking wine and chatting about life's simple matters, we immerse ourselves in the Tao, blending into the fabric of life. We seek neither immortality nor wealth. We mind not narrow paths, nor care for others' judgments. With a clear conscience, we watch the clouds rise and fall, and we find peace in the stillness of our hearts. After experiencing great storms, soaring highs, and plunging lows, we can look upon the humble farmer tending his fields over generations. We can listen to the roosters crowing at midnight and the streams gurgling softly. We can watch the shepherd, dressed in patched clothes, content with his simple meal. We can observe the small-time merchants, rushing to and fro at dawn and dusk. In those moments, an indescribable feeling of joy arises within us. That is truth, that is life, that is beauty, and that is a breathtakingly beautiful scene under the vast sky. By surrendering our lives to the Tao's management and arrangement, everything becomes a source of joy and happiness. Today, I am happy because I have filled my belly. Last night, I slept well, and I am happy. Right now, I am fortunate enough to sip tea while writing on my computer, and I am happy. When my beloved brings me a plate of sunflower seeds, I am thrilled and happy. The brothers, sisters, family, and lovers in our community joyfully discuss scriptures, love, and life, and I am so happy. My first love, who disappeared for more than 20 years, called and affectionately said, "I hate you." And I am happy. Once thin as a stick, now plump like a happy grandmother, I am joyful. The gentle breeze outside, the soft drizzle, the magpies chirping merrily on the opposite balcony, all these fill me with joy and happiness. There is nothing that does not bring happiness, no time that is not filled with joy, and for this, I am deeply grateful. We have always sought the Tao, only to discover that the Tao is not far from us. The Tao does not abandon us. Fish are in the water. People are in the Tao. The Tao is within us, around us, in our daily lives, in the myriad forms of existence, in the ever-changing phenomena. Walking in accordance with the Tao is to gain the Tao. To immerse oneself in the Tao, surrendering to its guidance and arrangement, is to gain the Tao. We no longer strive to control anything, nor do we fantasize about a successful life, desire to live ahead of others, or hope for a better life than others. We no longer exhaust ourselves trying to possess anything. We can simply be a humble blade of grass in the wilderness. As long as there is a drop of dew, I will sing. As long as there is a breeze, I will dance. As long as there is a ray of sunlight, I will shine brightly. And when a few birds fly across the blue sky above my head, I will be filled with joy and bless them. I came from the Tao and will return to the Tao. From simplicity to greatness is easy. From greatness to simplicity is not. The journey, the striving, the climbing turn out to be a descent, a return from complexity to simplicity, from luxury to plainness, from age to innocence, from the many to the infinite. Am I foolish? Perhaps. Am I not foolish? Perhaps. When we feel sad and troubled, when we are anxious and restless, when we are heartbroken by life's difficulties, or when our desires are unfulfilled and we furrow our brows in frustration, why not simply surrender our lives to the Tao's management and arrangement? It will open up a new and magnificent picture of life. 有涯与无涯, the finite and the infinite. Xiefeng. This is the final article in the chapter of wisdom. Originally, I planned to write 100 articles, but wisdom is boundless while my life is finite. Attempting to pursue the infinite with the finite is a sign of ignorance. Life holds many beautiful destinations awaiting exploration, and I cannot sacrifice my limited time to an endless search. Life is finite, yet desires are boundless. Only through simplicity can we reach our true destination. Knowledge is boundless. I cannot dedicate my entire life to pursuing knowledge, or I would lose the time to savor a leisurely cup of tea. Desires are bottomless. I cannot spend precious moments trying to fill the endless depths of desire, or I would miss the sounds of the wind, rain, and birdsong. Pleasure is infinite. I cannot waste the wonderful years of life lingering in the warmth of cafes and comfort. Otherwise, I would miss the chance to experience the desert sands and the vibrant hues of dawn and dusk. I cannot spend my finite life in the pursuit of becoming the embodiment of wisdom. Instead, I must merge with its light and blend with its dust. Otherwise, I would miss the smiles of infants and the movements of caterpillars. News is never-ending. I cannot occupy myself each day with worldly events, letting the flood of fresh stories obscure my purpose here. Otherwise, I may end up losing sight of where I am headed. Let the wind blow freely, let the clouds drift, let the sun rise and set, and let the tides ebb and flow. This finite human life cannot encompass every change over time, nor can I accompany every stream and river in their eternal song. Over-attachment delays life's journey, and excessive obsession can easily lead us astray. Intense love and hatred can entrap us in self-made cocoons, while simplicity and grace bring enduring warmth and fragrance. Life is finite. We cannot linger endlessly in the same place, intoxicated by dreams. We cannot carry too much. Excess becomes a burden, weighing down our journey. Confucius observed by the river, "Time flows like this. We are but waves in the ocean, clouds in the sky, flowers in the field, fleeting travelers on life's road. Since life is as fleeting as a flash, there is nothing we cannot let go of, be it grievances or mountains of wealth. Nothing in life is monumental or irreplaceable. Only life itself is worth cherishing and safeguarding. Life is finite, but life is infinite. Everything in life should center around life. This is life's core theme. Since we now know there is an afterlife with realms where one can live for 1,000 years, 10,000 years, or even billions of years, we should cast a long line to catch a big fish. While enjoying life, we should discard unnecessary distractions, investing our finite lives into the infinite evolution of life, using the limited to secure an unlimited, beautiful future. The future is ours to create. Our life structure determines the life space we will enter. Humanity in the past was confused about the evolution of life. Even if we mastered the Bible, Buddhist scriptures, the Quran, quantum mechanics, or the Tao Te Ching, even if we grasped the wisdom of sages, saw UFOs, and heard aliens speak, none of this could fully reveal life's principles or its origin and destiny, nor could it directly help us enter the heavenly kingdom to enjoy life's pleasures. Now, Life at Genuine has brought clarity. Here, everything is organized and understandable. The mysterious is no longer mysterious, and the complex is no longer complex. Chaos has transformed into order. Through the mist, we see the dawn of life, and within that dawn, life's future unfolds clearly. The path has been found, and the map has been drawn. Humanity's future lies in entering the era of Life at Genuine, and life's future is in the 1,000-year world, the 10,000-year world, and the Elysium world. We must no longer hesitate or waste our finite time on an endless pursuit of wisdom. Let go of unnecessary burdens, discard what is worn and outdated, and engage in joyful cultivation. Revere the greatest creator, life, and nature. Elevate our understanding, transform our thinking, and perfect our consciousness. Let life attain the structure of a super-celestial being and journey toward our heavenly homeland. Primary and intermediate cultivation ends here. When conditions are ripe, I will guide everyone into advanced cultivation, entering a world more magical and magnificent. In this finite life, we will understand life's future, see the heavenly kingdom clearly, and reach our destination smoothly. The greatest creator loves life. Christ Jesus loves humanity. Buddha Shakyamuni and Prophet Muhammad care deeply for humanity. Throughout history, sages have poured their hearts and souls into paving a glorious path with their precious lives. Let us follow this path, forging ahead, transforming our finite lives into an infinite journey of life, seamlessly connecting the finite with the infinite, and striving for a bright future that belongs to us. 小事与大事, small matters and big matters. 些phing. In this world, there are no big matters, only small ones. No, that's not quite right. There are no small matters either, only big ones. But truly, there are neither big matters nor small ones. There are simply matters. Big matters are small matters, and small matters are big ones. No, that's still not right. Big matters are simply big matters, and small matters are simply small matters. Or maybe not. Big matters can turn small, and small matters can grow big. A 1,000-mile dike collapses because of an ant hole. So, which is greater, the dike or the hole? For want of a horseshoe nail, a kingdom was lost. So, which is larger, the horseshoe or the kingdom? Without people, there is no nation. Which is more significant, the individual or the nation? Without seconds, there are no minutes. Which is more essential, the second or the minute? A tree that fills one's arms starts from a tiny sprout. A tower of 9 stories begins with a heap of earth. Big things stem from small beginnings. Without the solar system, there would be no earth. Without the oceans, there would be no streams. Small things come from the vast. The heavens and the earth are immense, but never let a grain of sand enter your eye. A single grain can darken the entire world. On a 1,000-mile journey, don't let a pebble sneak into your shoe. One small pebble can halt your long trek. In self-cultivation, Never let anyone disturb your heart. One ill-suited word, a single misaligned breath, and you're exhausted in both body and mind. If you can't handle small matters well, it will be difficult to accomplish big ones. By observing small details, you can discern the larger picture. All great undertakings begin with small steps. A leaky faucet, a loose button, a flat tire, trash at the door, a phone bill, a computer virus, an unlatched door, an upset child, a faulty fridge, a collapsing roof. All these are small matters, but if left unattended, they turn into big problems. Self-improvement, physical training, character development, building resilience, setting ideals, solidifying faith, accumulating merit, pursuing the Tao to attain immortality. These are all significant matters. Neglecting these important things will leave life full of trivialities. Think big, but act on the small. Set your sights on distant goals, but proceed step by step. People manage small matters. Big matters are accomplished by the heavens. Don't let desire consume you. If a splinter is stuck in your flesh, remove it. If frustration builds up in your heart, release it. Sometimes allowing a small, childlike outburst can relieve stress and might even help prevent illness. People say, small impatience ruins big plans, and enduring hardships build strength. But for those on the path of cultivation, it should be the opposite. Tolerating small matters leads to big disasters. Major things can be endured, but minor ones should not be tolerated. Excessive endurance of small slights can lead one astray. In the eyes of the inexperienced, everything appears significant. To those of great vision, everything appears small. Is building a skyscraper a big matter or a small one? To most people, everything seems crucial, but to the enlightened, everything is minor. Is becoming a minister a big deal or a trivial one? Treating small matters as big ones is short-sighted. Treating big matters as small is far-sighted. Seeing trivial matters as major reveals a narrow mind. Treating ultimate goals as insignificant shows short-sightedness. Life is a small matter. Death is the big one. No, that's not quite right. Death is small. Life is big. But life here is not the same as life there, nor is death here the same as death there. Big matters reside in the heart. Small matters are right before the eyes. Big matters lie in the distance. Small matters are near. What the eyes can see are all small matters. What the eyes cannot see are the big ones. The virtuous handle small matters. The petty handle big ones. No, that's still not quite right. The virtuous attend to small things. The petty pursue big ones. Seeking techniques is minor. Pursuing the Tao is major. Techniques are easy to obtain. The Tao is hard to achieve. Pessimists amplify small matters. Optimists minimize big ones. Those frequently troubled turn every little thing into a big matter. Those often joyful treat trivial matters lightly. Household matters, national affairs, worldly concerns, all are small matters. Don't take them too seriously. Celestial matters, Buddha's teachings, the business of the greatest creator. These are significant. Don't treat them lightly. When there's work to be done, I'm too busy to talk about it. But when there's nothing going on, I find something to discuss. Today, at leisure, let's talk about matters. Every little thing contains wisdom. Understanding all matters leads to divine insight. A day free of concerns feels like being a celestial being. When matters arise, the heart responds. When they pass, the heart clears. So why fuss about whether it's a small matter, a big matter, or something trivial? 丰满人生三要素. The three essential elements of a fulfilling life. 写finge. When one's life attains health, wealth, and freedom, it can be considered fulfilling. In other words, health, wealth, and freedom are the three essential elements that form a complete and abundant life. Health. Health is life's first blessing. Just as great trees cannot grow on barren mountains, and a damaged ship cannot sail far, a frail body and mind cannot endure life's emotional highs and lows. Only with health can one truly experience and appreciate the full richness of life. The three aspects of health are physical health, mental health, and spiritual health. Physical health primarily refers to bodily well-being, akin to a car's systems, transmission, load-bearing, lubrication, cooling, and electrical systems. If any of these malfunctions, the car is prone to breakdowns. Mental health mainly refers to the health of thoughts and awareness, similar to a car's ignition system and its ability to convert heat into power or linear motion into rotation. If ignition fails, the car won't start. Without conversion, it won't move. Spiritual health concerns one's inner vitality, like a car's fuel source. Without a steady supply of the right fuel, the car is merely a lifeless assembly of parts. Physical health is maintained through self-care, mental health through the guidance of wisdom and virtue, and spiritual health through sound beliefs. Wealth. Wealth is the second blessing. Poverty brings forth conflicts and suffering. A life in poverty is filled with sorrow. Only with wealth can dreams and ideals come to fruition. The three aspects of wealth are material wealth, mental wealth, and soulful wealth. Material wealth involves having the basic necessities, freedom from concerns about food, clothing, shelter, and transportation. Mental wealth encompasses knowledge, meaningful relationships, and a place for one's spirit to rest. Soulful wealth is the wealth of ideals, faith, optimism, inner drive, and the expansive freedom for one's soul to soar. Freedom. Freedom is the third blessing. A life without freedom resembles that of a prisoner. Without it, one can never truly know oneself and instead becomes an extension or tool of others. The three aspects of freedom are personal freedom, intellectual freedom, and spiritual freedom. Personal freedom refers to having the right and space to move freely, unrestricted, and uninhibited. Intellectual freedom encompasses the rights to pursue knowledge, form connections, express oneself, and choose one's beliefs freely. Without these, the mind cannot be free. Spiritual freedom means liberation from restrictive doctrines or theories, allowing the imagination to roam boundlessly, the spirit to journey freely, and the soul to be fearless, creating beauty as it desires. Health, wealth, and freedom form the foundation of a complete and fulfilling life, an ideal state. Lacking any of these leaves life incomplete, fragmented, unfulfilled, sorrowful, and filled with regret. Achieving a fulfilling life is both remarkably easy and challenging, depending on one's mindset. Transforming hardship into ease requires a shift in consciousness. Naturally, there are 18 aspects of life beyond our control. Some are the domain of nature, like the inevitability of rain or wind. Others lie within societal systems. If others want soup, or if institutions enforce rules, we often must go with the flow. Yet, some matters are entirely within our control, and favorable conditions will always come our way. Even in adversity, adjusting our mindset and attitude can transform obstacles into opportunities, turning bitterness into sweetness. When life is smooth, think conventionally. When life is challenging, think inversely. Embrace conventional thinking for truths that bring joy and unconventional, or even reverse thinking, for those that cause pain. In this way, we can attain a full life of health, wealth, and freedom. Every pursuit must have its limits. Health, wealth, and freedom also require boundaries, for extremes meet, and excess leads to reversal. If pursued without moderation, they can become a form of ailment. May everyone achieve a life filled with health, wealth, and freedom. 核桃与桃子的启示. A revelation from walnuts and peaches. 协定. Both walnuts and peaches can serve as seeds for the continuation of life. Generally, fruits serve two purposes. One is to provide nourishment for other living beings, and the other is to enable self-reproduction. However, the walnut serves only one purpose. It is either eaten by other beings or used as a seed. Peaches, on the other hand, are different. After nourishing others, they can still be used as seeds to continue life. Where does this difference lie? The core issue is that the walnut hides its flesh within a hard shell. Other beings want to eat its flesh, but because it is so protective, they end up breaking the shell to access it. Once its flesh is eaten, the walnut's life comes to an end. In contrast, the peach exposes its flesh while keeping its seed protected inside, allowing other beings to enjoy its flesh generously, thus preserving its seed and ensuring the continuation of life. The more one gives, the easier it is to protect one's own life. The less one gives, the easier it is to lose life. No one would want to uproot a tree that bears abundant fruit year after year, nor would anyone pull up a peony just to place it in a vase. Cows and sheep that produce plentiful milk are rarely slaughtered. Even within a family or group, the more someone contributes, the more respect and affection they garner. Conversely, someone who, like the walnut, shields themselves with a hard shell and refuses to give will be overlooked and forgotten. If someone not only refuses to contribute but constantly seeks to take, people may eventually grow weary of them and wonder, why are they still here? Everything in nature has a purpose. Nothing is useless. The more one contributes, the more they are valued, and the better their chances of continuing life. The less one gives, the more likely they are to fade away. Life that constantly takes without giving is at risk of extinction. From a human perspective, we can clearly see the state of life in plants and animals. From a divine perspective, we can see the state of human life. For a sheep to understand its fate and life path, it must view itself from the shepherd's perspective. Otherwise, it will live its life in confusion. Similarly, for a person to understand their fate and life path, they must see themselves from the perspective of their Creator. Otherwise, they will inevitably live a life of bewilderment. From a divine perspective, it becomes clear that those who desire only to gain ultimately end up with nothing, while those who desire to give find themselves with an abundance. Those willing to give their lives ultimately gain life, while those who are stingy and unwilling to give risk losing their lives. Everything in nature has an expiration date. Flowers must bloom in time. If they don't, they miss their chance. Food must be consumed promptly. If not, it spoils. Milk must be drawn in time. If it isn't, it stops being produced. Wisdom and talent must be applied at the right time. Otherwise, they become outdated. Both physical and inner beauty must be displayed before it fades. Pearls and gems must be placed in the light to reveal their value. Otherwise, they are no different from ordinary stones. Taiji Celestial displayed his intelligence by creating a website to showcase his talents, thus demonstrating his value. Qingquan Celestial generously shared his wisdom, radiating the brilliance of life. Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Andy Lau, and others created countless works in a timely manner, which made them shining stars. This is nature's iron law. The more you give, the more you will gain. The less you give, the less you will receive. When you gain, you must give. When you give, you will inevitably receive. From the perspective of life's evolution, those who had little in the human world but gave much have ascended to higher states of life, while those who had plenty and squandered it have descended to lower states. Who says the divine way is not fair? If we look with a short-sighted view, we will see unfairness everywhere. But if we look farther, we will find that everything in the world is fair and reasonable. The broader our vision, the more we see the fairness of the world and the justice of the divine way. In summary, learn from the peach by displaying your best for others to enjoy, thereby protecting and extending your life. Don't be like the walnut, tightly wrapping yourself in a hard shell, only to lose the opportunity to continue your life in the end. 混沌与混沌, Chaos and Holographic Order. Xiefeng, July 18, 2007. Chaos is a state of disorder, while holographic order represents an organized and unified state. Chaos denotes the condition that existed before the formation of the universe, whereas holographic order signifies the state after its formation. In Chinese, chaos, 混沌, implies disorder and randomness, while holographic order, 混沌, signifies an indivisible and complete unity. Chaos lacks heaven, earth, boundaries, limits, and a center. It contains no yin, no yang, and no middle way. Holographic order encompasses Taiji, the unified one, from which the duality of yin and yang, liangyi, emerges, giving rise to the middle way. If one believes that all events are random and coincidental, such as a butterfly's wings flapping in Alaska being unrelated to a storm at the Cape of Good Hope, or that slipping on a banana peel today has no connection to a rotten apple thrown out of a window 10 years ago, this reflects chaotic reasoning. In contrast, recognizing underlying connections signifies holographic reasoning. In other words, if we can connect events, such as being glared at today with the knife marks we carved into our school desks 30 years ago, and recognize the inherent, inevitable links between all occurrences, this way of thinking embodies holographic reasoning. Those who are interested will naturally come across more in-depth explanations of holographic reasoning, It can be confidently stated that 999,999 out of a million people perceive the world as chaotic, while only 1 in a million sees it as holographically ordered. The greatness of figures like Jesus, Buddha, and Laozi lies in their perception of the world as holographically ordered rather than chaotic. In deterministic systems, irregular movements may appear random. Although a system may have a deterministic foundation, its behavior may seem unpredictable, non-repetitive, and uncertain, leading to confusion. Why is it impossible to step into the same river twice? This illustrates the chaotic phenomena of the world. Yet, the world is not chaotic. From an individual perspective, events may seem random, coincidental, irregular, irrational, non-repetitive, and unpredictable. However, from a holistic perspective, everything exists in perfect holographic order, structured and meticulous. Laozi observed that heaven's net is vast and wide, yet nothing escapes it, implying that no event or phenomenon can evade the net of heaven. This shows that the world is holographically ordered rather than chaotic. Our perception of chaos stems from the fact that our thinking has yet to rise to the level of holographic reasoning, or our wisdom has not yet attained that state. The phenomenon known as the butterfly effect demonstrates that a minute change in initial conditions can lead to a dramatic change in future states. For instance, a butterfly flapping its wings in Asia could cause a tornado in America more powerful than a hurricane months later. Or, a speck of dust can affect the trajectory of 2 other planets. This exemplifies the nature of holographic reasoning. Expressions such as "a straw can break a camel's back," "4 ounces can move 1,000 pounds," "give me a lever and a fulcrum, and I can move the earth," "do not commit even the smallest evil," "encourage even the smallest good," and "a small error can lead to 1,000 miles divergence," illustrate holographic reasoning. Chaotic thinking is narrow, partial, localized, and linear. Holographic thinking is broad, comprehensive, holistic, and nonlinear. The Tao's nature is holographically ordered. Chaos is merely its outer manifestation, while holographic order is its true essence. Confronted with the uncertainty principle in quantum mechanics, Einstein famously asserted, "God does not play dice." Many believe Einstein was mistaken, but I assert he was correct, as his understanding reflects holographic reasoning. Those who claim he was wrong view it through the lens of chaotic reasoning. Ancient Chinese wisdom warns, "Whispers in a dark room are as loud as thunder." The secretive murmurs of 2 or more people can reverberate through the heavens like thunder in a summer storm. Why? Because the universe is holographically ordered. Knowing that the world is holographically ordered, unified, and indivisible, we must speak and act with caution. Every word we utter, every action we take, every thought we harbor, and every comment we post online will directly impact our life's future. Nothing escapes this influence. In the end, we must face the consequences of our actions. If we cannot face these bitter fruits within a year, they will extend to 10 years. If not in 10, then 100, 1,000, or even 10,000 years. If we fail to awaken and continue to commit misdeeds, we may find ourselves struggling in the sea of suffering and hell for countless lifetimes. From a holographic thinking perspective, countless people are rushing headlong toward hell, unstoppable. 以自己丰富内涵立足于社会. Establishing oneself in society through rich inner content. Xiefeng, September 2, 2009. What enables a person to stand firm in society? Grass, flowers, butterflies, bees, and birds show us that only through their own green leaves, vibrant fragrance, light wings, diligence, and hard work can they find survival and freedom. When one's foundation is established, the Tao emerges. When the heart is rich, one finds peace. There are 3 great treasures in life: soul wealth, spiritual wealth, and material wealth. Only by possessing ample amounts of all 3 can a person stand tall, live with dignity, and truly establish themselves in society. If a person lacks these 3 treasures, if they are spiritually barren, mentally impoverished, and materially deprived, then they cannot stand firm. Instead, they become destined to live as slaves, sycophants, or simply scrape by to survive. Without rich inner content, an individual can only rely on flattery, ingratiation, compliments, hollow words, superficial compliance, opportunism, scheming, dependence on others, or on selling their time, energy, spirit, and conscience to survive. Those who seek survival by attaching themselves to a country, religion, political party, organization, powerful person, money, a man, a woman, an ideology, or a doctrine do so because they are spiritually, mentally, and materially impoverished and lack rich inner content. In marriage, both partners often depend on each other because their own inner content is insufficient. They rely on each other for survival. They place their happiness in the hands of another, expecting them to guarantee lifelong happiness, for they lack the inner richness needed to stand independently in society. Those who lack inner content and depend on external factors for happiness cannot stand firm. Their lives will inevitably be filled with fear, struggle, and despair, bound to end in tragedy. To become a dignified, free individual standing firm in society, the foremost task is to enrich one's inner content, not to seek solace in external illusions. How can one enrich their inner content? This enrichment comes from pursuing soul wealth, spiritual wealth, and material wealth, starting with soul wealth and spiritual wealth. Material wealth alone is not true wealth. Only a rich heart is truly wealthy. 8 pathways can enrich one's inner content. Seek the greatest creator, know the greatest creator, have faith in the greatest creator, revere the greatest creator, trust the greatest creator, and walk in the way of the greatest creator. Listen to the teachings of Christ Jesus, Buddha Shakyamuni, Celestial Laozi, Prophet Muhammad, and sages throughout history. Read beautiful essays and poetry, and listen to graceful melodies and songs. Develop your strengths, master a skill or technique for survival, be dedicated and responsible, and strive for excellence. Be diligent. In both great and small matters, let your inner truth, goodness, beauty, love, faith, and sincerity shine through in your words and actions. Seize every opportunity to express your true self. Remain ever humble. Embody your value and strive to be of service to society and others without dwelling on personal gain or loss. In the pursuit of material wealth, the highest state is to own nothing yet possess everything. By following these principles, one's inner content will grow increasingly rich, unshaken by external influences, constraints, or limitations. Life will become increasingly joyful, free, and fulfilling, allowing one to establish themselves in society, feel the joy of life, and envision a beautiful future. 比较之心乃惹心. The heart of comparison is the heart of malice. Xiefeng, September 14, 2009. Jealousy is a reflection of the ugliness within the human heart. The root of jealousy lies in comparison. It's through comparing ourselves to others that jealousy takes root and grows. In the 82nd value of 800 values for new era human beings, I outlined 108 aspects of evil and 108 of good within human nature. Among these, comparing oneself to others is classified as a form of evil. When we observe other life forms created by the greatest creator, we see that they do not engage in comparison. Each is content in its own place and role. The humble achnatharum never compares itself to the sensitive mimosa. The orchid doesn't compete with the peony. Bamboo doesn't measure itself against cedar. Grapes do not envy peaches. Sparrows don't compare themselves with wild geese. Antelopes don't measure themselves against zebras. Field mice don't envy elephants. Bees do not vie with butterflies. Precisely because they do not compare. The world is rich, diverse, and beautiful. Only humans indulge in comparison. And what is the outcome? When we compare ourselves to others, we either feel inferior or superior, leading to shame, arrogance, suppression of others, or insincerity. Comparison breeds conflict, pain, jealousy, envy, regret, and even resentment. Why should we compare ourselves to others? You have your grand symphony, and I have my humble serenade. You travel the broad road, and I take my narrow bridge. You shine with brilliance, while I possess my own charm. You exude elegance, and I embody grace. You may have 5-star hotels, while I have my cozy cottage. You have your degrees, fame, status, power, wealth, and beauty. I cherish simplicity, tranquility, peace, health, minimalism, and ordinariness. You thrive in splendor, while I find joy in nature's serenity. Why should I compare myself to anyone? Once the heart of comparison arises, inner peace slips away, giving rise to trouble from nothing and disasters within. With the heart of comparison, one becomes obsessed with wealth and status, anguished over poverty, endlessly yearning and weighed down by perceived injustices, making peace and happiness difficult to attain. When the heart of comparison takes hold, it leads to self-criticism, self-destruction, and inner turmoil. It forces those who care for us into needless struggles and conflicts, sometimes even to desperate measures. Comparison brings about restless days and sleepless nights, pushing us to pursue superfluous things and waste precious years on open and hidden battles, consumed by struggles for superiority. The heart of comparison reveals a lack of confidence and inner richness, a misunderstanding of universal principles, a sign of a chaotic mind, and ignorance of life's value and purpose. The heart of comparison creates its own troubles, suffering, difficulties, and ultimately, self-burial. It breeds friction and conflict, unhappiness and misfortune, confrontation and struggle, pain and hardship. In this world, there will always be those who surpass us, whether in looks, wealth, success, status, or talent. Is it possible to endlessly compare ourselves? Life is too short to keep comparing. Therefore, we must not compare ourselves to others. We should not force a duck to perch in a tree, nor push ourselves to face the tiger on the mountain. We must not endanger those who care for us by pursuing unhealthy desires, nor bring upon ourselves sleepless nights. Heaven ordains our birth and growth. We should take things as they come. If I am grass, I will grow a few green leaves. If I am a flower, I will bloom with a few buds. If I am a willow, I will sway gently. If I am an apricot, I will bear some fruit. Why should I create troubles for myself by comparing? Let the foolish and ignorant continue to compare. For us, a day of peace is a day of divinity, and following the path of fate brings us closer to a celestial life. 看看自己属不属于芸芸众生一言. Examining whether you belong to the masses. Xiefeng, April 27, 2011. The Buddha taught us to save all sentient beings. So, who among humans, without discussing other forms of life, qualifies as part of this collective group? Answer: those who do not know where they came from or where they're going. Those who do not understand the cycle of life and the principles of reincarnation. Those who are unaware of the existence of the non-material world. Those who cannot clearly identify their parents, children, or other important people in their lives. Those who are spiritually and mentally impoverished. Those who harbor greed, anger, ignorance, resentment, hatred, jealousy, strife, or doubt. Those who lack gratitude and act selfishly. Those who do not have a place for the ancestral Buddha, that is, the greatest creator, in their hearts. If you possess any of these 8 characteristics, you belong to the masses. Being part of the masses means living in a state of confusion and ambiguity, lacking clear understanding and direction in life. Is there anything wrong with belonging to the masses? Not necessarily. Living without clarity has its own merits. You can laugh when it's time to laugh, cry when it's time to cry, rush through life in a flurry, endure suffering, or enjoy comfort. In the end, when your time comes, you might simply think, all's well. Living simply and practically, like one among a herd, without understanding life's purpose, indifferent to past lives or future ones, can indeed be pleasant enough. However, the one downside of belonging to the masses is the absence of a true future. If you doubt this, ask yourself, where is my future? Future, as the word implies, is the path ahead, not only in terms of tomorrow, next year, and the rest of your earthly life, but also the road that lies beyond. Where does your path lead? To truly understand your future, you must awaken. Awakening means perceiving life's phenomena through your senses: sight, hearing, smell, taste, touch, and intuition, and grasping their true nature. Once you do, you have awakened. In that awakening, you are no longer among the masses. The challenge is that awakening on your own is difficult. It requires understanding a vast system of knowledge, including the origins of things, time, space, life, consciousness, human existence, emotions, love, and desires. Life is too short, and most of it is spent simply managing the basics: food, clothing, shelter, and the cycle of life and death, which leaves little time or energy for awakening. So, what can be done? It's simple. Listen to the teachings of Jesus Christ, the Buddha Shakyamuni, the sage Laozi, and the Prophet Muhammad. As long as you can integrate the teachings of the gods, the Buddhas, the celestial beings, and the saints, you will certainly awaken. If you lack the time and energy to fully understand these profound teachings, there's an even simpler way. Enter Life Genuine and follow the path laid out by its guide, though this may sound self-serving. Whether the guide of Life Genuine is genuine is something you can discover through your own experience. If you find it sour, bitter, or astringent, it shows the guide is a fraud. Feel free to kick him away. But if you find it spicy, sweet, or fragrant, it suggests the guide is enlightened. Then follow closely and don't let go. 对父母的小孝、忠孝和大孝之别. The differences between minor, moderate, and great filial piety. Xiefeng, December 13, 2011. Being filial to one's parents is an inherent and fundamental duty for all children. However, there are distinctions between minor, moderate, great, and even super levels of filial piety. Minor filial piety: attending to parents constantly, serving them meals, washing their feet, and carrying out their wishes with reverent care and respect whenever they express a need. Moderate filial piety: managing one's own issues and life affairs in a way that prevents parents from worrying about you. Great filial piety: achieving success in one's career and personal endeavors, bringing pride and joy to one's parents through these accomplishments. Super filial piety: accumulating merits and then transferring part of these merits to one's parents, enabling them to be freed from the suffering of reincarnation and to experience the eternal joys of life and existence. 进入空灵状态的几个小技巧. The subtle techniques for achieving a state of emptiness. Xiefeng, August 11, 2013. Without reaching a state of emptiness in body, mind, and spirit, it's impossible to elevate one's vibrational frequency. A low vibrational frequency prevents the unity of humans and the divine, the transformation into celestial beings, and the ascension to higher realms of life. So, how can one achieve this state of emptiness? Let go of all attachments. Once emotional attachment arises, negative feelings like jealousy, resentment, anger, and frustration become inevitable. Possessing wealth, power, status, fame, or property leads to anxiety, worry, and fear. When attached to a strong sense of self, conflicts, arguments, debates, and energy struggles are unavoidable. Let go of all attachments, and the body, mind, and spirit can reach a state of emptiness. Be content and go with the flow. Trust that the greatest creator will care for you. Believe that the Tao arranges everything appropriately, and understand that the law of cause and effect operates without fail. Regardless of your current situation, remain calm and at peace. Avoid seeking escape or expecting better conditions. Refrain from complaints and resistance. Face the present with composure and acceptance. Accept and release relationships as they come and go, without attachment. The people and events that enter your life are not coincidental, but part of the program of causality. Never regret past actions or cling to past events. Whether rain or shine, let everything come and go naturally. Embrace opportunities as they arise and release them when they pass. Avoid attachment to pursuits or goals, allowing the body, mind, and spirit to remain in a state of emptiness. Maintain harmony with the whole. Align yourself with the collective state. When others are resting, rest as well. When others rise, rise too. If others are engaging in activities, do not watch passively. If everyone bears themselves, you should bear yourself as well. Don't put on airs of superiority. When others admire flowers, admire them too. Avoid isolating yourself by admiring only your own uniqueness. When others quiet down, quiet yourself as well. Do not stand out needlessly, like a crane among chickens. Calculate less, engage and play more. Avoid letting your mind become a whirlwind of calculations, suspicions, or assumptions about others' motives. Do not dwell on what others may intend, as the truth may be far from what you imagine. When free, engage in play. Write a simple poem, listen to music, dance, play an instrument, stroll through nature, or play games. This relaxation clears distractions and banishes negative thoughts, allowing body, mind, and spirit to find peace. Labor to purify the spirit. Engage in meaningful work every day. Give and contribute consistently, avoiding idle pleasures. Strive not to be seen as lazy or unhelpful by those around you, and work to owe nothing to anyone. Living this way brings a sense of fulfillment and a clear conscience, lighting the body, mind, and spirit and helping you move naturally toward emptiness. Let go of desires and expectations. Avoid delusions and fantasies. Without desires, one gains strength. Without expectations, one finds peace. Desires and ambitions distort one's true nature, suppress one's spiritual essence, foster a sense of inferiority, and lead to inauthenticity, making one overly cautious and worried. Let everything flow with the Tao, allowing events to happen naturally. Wait for fruits to ripen without attempting to pick them prematurely. Avoid taking what isn't rightfully yours, breaking the law, exploiting others' domains, gambling, or risking excessively. Don't expect immediate success or overnight fulfillment. Whether the divine or ghosts come, the body, mind, and spirit will naturally stay at ease. Avoid competing for energy. Conflicts and struggles all stem from competing for energy. Discontent among people arises from the drive to extract energy from each other. Step back from these contests, and you'll find a world of serene mountains, moonlit skies, and tranquil waters. Avoid competing for physical or spiritual energy. Disputes muddy the mind and spirit. Instead, let yourself commune alone with the spirit of heaven and earth, drawing upon the essence of the sun, moon, and nature. In this way, the body, mind, and spirit enter a state of emptiness. The state of emptiness is profoundly beautiful, a state of effortless action where nothing is left undone. In advancing, one might reach for the moon in the sky. In retreating, one vanishes without a trace. Like Lizi's teacher, Huzi, who could transform endlessly, one can respond instantly, becoming a Buddha with Buddhas, a celestial with celestials. You can be anything or nothing, taking any shape or state, round or square, long or short, hard or soft, hidden or revealed, occupying a state of complete resonance with all frequencies. May everyone experience the beauty of emptiness soon. 8 Paths to Elevate the Frequency of Life. Xiefeng, August 19, 2024. Each form of life, down to every individual, has a unique frequency. The core of life is the soul, which is consciousness, so life frequency essentially reflects the frequency of consciousness. Understanding this can be complex, but Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness energy levels offers a simplified guide. In the universe, the highest energy level belongs to the greatest creator, with a frequency level in the billions. Next come the gods, with average levels in the tens of thousands, followed by angels, celestials, and Buddhas with levels in the thousands. Humans vibrate at levels in the hundreds, animals in the tens, and plants in single digits. Note, energy level here specifically refers to consciousness frequency, not the frequency of non-life material. For clarity, the minimum energy level for entry into the lowest heavenly state is 500. This means a life frequency of 500 Hz or above is required to enter heaven. Entry into mid-level heaven requires 600 Hz and above, while higher levels of heaven require frequencies of 1000 Hz and beyond. To meet the threshold of primary heaven, here are 8 ways to elevate your vibration. A mind free of obstructions. A mind unburdened by obstacles experiences a significant rise in frequency. A mind free of resentment. Resentment hinders ascension. A mind free of pride and fear. Free yourself from arrogance and any fears. Overcoming life's gravitational pull. Free yourself from debts and worldly attachments. Daily joy and cheer. Cultivate joy and a light heart every day. Optimism, romance, and playfulness. Approach life with a spirit of lightheartedness, formlessness, and non-action. Adapt to circumstances with ease, flow with spontaneity, and act naturally in response to life. Keeping a heart of reverence, follow your heart's desires without overstepping boundaries. Attaining these qualities will elevate your frequency to 500 or above, marking you as a heavenly life. Achieving a state of owning nothing yet possessing everything allows life frequency to soar into the thousands, signifying entry into the higher realms of heaven. The foundation for elevating life frequency begins with cultivating the inner garden of your soul, followed by upgrading your thinking from material to image-based, associative, illusory, visualized, Tai Chi, non-form, and ultimately, holographic thinking. Ultimately, the highest state of life is attained through unselfishness, selflessness, and non-attachment. The frequency of each person's life is perceptible. Through brief interaction, one can sense a person's vibrational frequency and, in some cases, identify their developmental path, whether toward heaven or hell, continued human reincarnation, or descent into the animal realm. Dr. Hawkins' energy scale can serve as a helpful reference for these insights. Forget your goal, and you'll sink into the mire. Xiefeng, September 29, 2024. A life without a goal is one weighed down by trivial worries, suffering, conflicts, setbacks, anxiety, and fears that will haunt you all your life. For those who have a life goal yet forget it on the way, distracted by fame, personal gain, desires, or overwhelmed by challenges, they quickly fall into a mire of jealousy, comparisons, anger, resentment, quarrels, and rivalry. Harmony with others becomes almost impossible, and relationships turn turbulent, filled with opposition, conflict, and overwhelming bitterness. The grander the goal, the lighter life feels. The more short-sighted the goal, the more burdensome life will be. If you find yourself feeling frustrated, disheartened, or agitated by others' laziness, greed, selfishness, aggression, or indifference, it's likely because you either have no life goal or you've forgotten it. To illustrate, let's consider the life of a Chanyuan Celestial. A Chanyuan Celestial has two core goals. 1. To experience joy, freedom, happiness, and bliss. And 2. To extend their life into the 1,000-year world, 10,000-year world, or Celestial Island's continent of Elysium. With a clear goal, life becomes straightforward, lighter, and easier. You avoid deep connections with those whose paths contradict your goals, ignore distractions, and avoid paths that diverge from your purpose. You won't follow such a path, no matter how appealing, even if it's lined with wealth, fame, beauty, or promises of prestige and honor. But what if those close to you, parents, children, a spouse, siblings, friends, or coworkers, bring you distress? First, don't try to change others. Everyone has their own life path. Trying to change someone else is often a thankless task. Let those bound for heaven go to heaven, and those destined for hell go to hell. Allow a carrot to remain a carrot and a cabbage to remain a cabbage. Trying to turn one into the other is not their problem, but yours. As a popular saying goes, those who can change themselves are wise. Those who try to change others are foolish. Don't turn yourself into a fool. Second, if you see someone heading down the wrong path, don't let it burden you. Let them do as they will. Focus instead on living responsibly and within your means. When you prepare food, share it with them gladly. If they do not share with you, let it go calmly, without anger or resentment. If you're busy while they are idle, don't feel jealous or frustrated. You focus on your tasks and they on theirs. Leave the ultimate reckoning to the universe. It will eventually settle all accounts. Finally, never lose sight of your goal. Think of yourself as a celestial being, maintaining your virtues even if those around you, family, friends, and colleagues, are mere mortals. Continue your journey toward the celestial world, undisturbed by the behavior and opinions of others. Contribute selflessly, unconcerned with gain or loss. One day, if you reach the celestial world and look back, you'll clearly see the circumstances of those who once brought you distress. Ultimately, those who live the most freely, confidently, and brightly are those without ego, selfishness, or attachment. All who experience trouble, pain, anxiety, or fear lack a life goal and are bound by strong egotism, selfishness, and self-centeredness. Let the dead be, let the living live. Just keep climbing toward your goal. Future living environments are created by the contents of one's consciousness. Xiefeng, October 7th, 2024. This is one of the mysteries of life. Have you ever thought about what kind of environment you might live in the future? In my writings, I've said that the future is shaped by imagination, not simply by hard work and effort. I have given numerous examples to prove the reliability and truth of this concept. Reflecting on my own experiences as a child, I often gazed at the sunset, daydreaming. Watching the sun set in the west, I always felt that the place where the sun touched the horizon was incredibly beautiful. The West was a place that deeply captivated my heart and soul. 30 years later, I found myself far from home, living in the direction of the setting sun, and for 16 years, I enjoyed an exceptionally comfortable and delightful life. It was a time of joy, freedom, and happiness. I lived in a large villa, swam year-round in my private pool, and had 2 large dogs running playfully in the front and backyards. I employed 2 housekeepers, one to tend the garden and outdoor areas, and the other to handle laundry, dishwashing, and indoor cleaning. All year round, the garden was lush, full of greenery, the scent of flowers, and the sounds of birds singing. Today, my life is even more peaceful. Backed by a vast, primeval forest and facing the broad expanse of Anaheim Lake, I live in a 3-story house. Whether standing on the nearly 30-square-meter balcony, gazing across the lake at the snowy mountain peaks, or sitting by the shore admiring the gentle ripples on the water, watching fish swim in the shallows, or wild ducks playing, it all fills me with a deep sense of joy and tranquility. In fact, all of this had been imagined within my consciousness long before it became a reality. Now, the question is, can anyone fulfill their wishes simply by imagining them? Yes, absolutely. The key question is, what exactly are you envisioning? Are you imagining accumulating more wealth? Becoming a high-ranking official? Bringing honor to your family? Living above others? Becoming famous, admired by all, and envied? Or perhaps you imagine overpowering others, avenging wrongs, or leaping across social classes. Do you possess the patience and peace of mind to envision an ideal future? It's hard, isn't it? Maybe you find it challenging imagining a beautiful future, even if you try. Why is that? There are 2 core reasons. First, it may not exist within your consciousness, meaning there's a lack of blessings or divine destiny. In other words, there was no accumulation of good karma in your past lives. Second, there hasn't been enough giving and dedication. The law of balancing positive and negative energies prevents such imagination. To imagine a beautiful future for yourself, several qualities are essential: purity, simplicity, kindness, and a soul garden free of weeds and harmful thoughts, filled only with fragrant, blossoming flowers. You must also have treasures stored in heaven, as only a beautiful life deserves to enjoy a beautiful environment. Every environment is matched to one's consciousness. If beauty is absent in your consciousness, then there will be little beauty in your environment. Look at the world around you. The bait on a mousetrap lures the mouse, while bait on a fishing hook entices the fish. Aren't wealth, power, fame, and status much like the bait on a trap or hook? Imagine tomorrow is your last day on life's journey. What will you be able to take with you? Not a single worldly possession will go with you. Only the contents of your consciousness, the things you consider most precious, will accompany you. If what you treasure lies in heaven, then you will go to heaven. If your treasures lie in this world, then you will inevitably return here. In essence, your future environment is composed of the elements within your consciousness. Imagination shapes the future, but if there is no wisdom and beauty within, then no amount of imagination can envision heavenly scenes. It will only be able to conjure images of the human world, or even scenes from the animal or plant worlds. Journey of Transcending Time and Space. Xiefeng, July 26, 2013. Warning. This article is only suitable for those who have lived in the Life-Echanuan Second Home, a Life-Echanuan-created communist community, for more than 2 years. It is intended for those who have completely severed ties with the secular world, passed through the labor test, repaid all debts accumulated from previous lifetimes, and accrued enough merits. Additionally, it is only for those who have not fallen into emotional entanglements with others in the community. For the rest of the Life Genuine members, it is crucial to follow a step-by-step process. The focus of their practice should be on cutting off worldly attachments, repaying debts, accumulating merits, and perfecting their soul garden, not on pursuing the journey of transcending time and space. Anyone else reading this article should treat it as mere information and should absolutely not believe in its authenticity. I have fabricated everything here, so do not take it seriously. Especially, do not attempt to follow its content in your practice, as doing so will inevitably lead to an imbalance in your life, causing you to lose focus and possibly fall into dangerous delusions. Preface. The cold gives way to heat, seasons alternate, flowers bloom and wither, and the world transforms through the ages. Birth, aging, sickness, and death follow. Things grow, decline, form, and dissolve. Prosperity and decay follow one another in an endless cycle, as the universe plays out its eternal symphony of reincarnation. Everything rises and falls in time and space, struggling, sighing, and ultimately succumbing to the passage of time. Like the falling flower, all turns to emptiness in the end. Time drives us to age, and the years bury our youth. Like flowers swept away by flowing water, spring departs, leaving nothing but melancholy and endless longing. The path to heaven is distant, separated by countless mountains. A fleeting moment of beauty disappears in an instant, leaving us lamenting at the edge of the world. But then, as the road twists and turns, we find light amid the shadows. When time ceases and space disappears, the mind follows consciousness, and reality transforms according to the mind. In the blink of an eye, 100,000 light-years pass. Mountains and obstacles shrink to the size of sand grains. The infinite beauty of the world stretches out beyond description, filled with boundless wonders and emptiness, spirit, and grace. We live in harmony with heaven and earth, sharing the same longevity as the sun and moon, shining together, singing with orioles and dancing with swallows, soaring alongside swans and cranes, basking in endless bliss and joy. 1 year in the human world, 1 day for me. Time is different in every place and space. The time on the moon is not the same as on Earth, just as the time for those living on the first floor differs from those living on the 20th floor. The saying 1 day in heaven equals 1 year on Earth holds truth. Time varies depending on how people or things operate. 24 hours a day is only a conventional measure. For some, the length of a day may be more or less than 24 hours. Walking eastward, the length of each day decreases. Walking westward, it increases. The faster you walk eastward, the shorter the day, and the faster you walk westward, the longer the day. If you walk eastward at a speed of 465 meters per second, your day would be 12 hours long. If you walk westward at half the speed of Earth's rotation, 233 meters per second, your day would be 48 hours. If you were to run westward at 465 meters per second, the concept of a day would no longer exist. If you run eastward at 99/365 the speed of Earth's rotation, 465 meters per second, a year of running becomes a single day. Running westward at the same speed makes a year stretch into 36,135 days. If you run at a speed of 300,000 kilometers per second, regardless of whether you go east or west, time disappears entirely. The conclusion is that time is related to the speed at which matter moves. Time is not fixed. It can lengthen, shorten, or even become infinite or disappear. What this means for humans is that if we live according to conventional routines on Earth, we are inevitably doomed to die. However, if we break free from conventional living, we can transcend the constraints of space and time. The farther from the center, the greater the space. The Earth's equator is the longest, while the poles are the shortest. People living at the equator need to travel 40,000 kilometers to circle the Earth, while those at the poles only need to spin around their own axis, covering less than 1 meter. However, whether you circle 40,000 kilometers or just 1 meter, the time taken is the same. If you draw a large circle with many people standing inside it, and the circle rotates, you will find that in the same time period, those closer to the center travel a shorter distance, while those farther from the center travel a longer distance. This means that within the same time, the closer you are to the center, the smaller the space and the easier life becomes. The farther you are from the center, the larger the space, and the more exhausting it becomes. How to achieve immortality? Scientific exploration has discovered that human cells divide 50 times in a lifetime, with each division cycle lasting 2.4 years. This results in a natural lifespan of 120 years, just like how a day on Earth is 24 hours. However, if the cell division cycle could be extended, human life could also be extended indefinitely. But how can we extend this cycle? Since running eastward shortens time and running westward lengthens it, the 24-hour day can be altered. If we can change the activity time of cells, the division cycle will no longer be 2.4 years, but could become 1 year, 10 years, or even an indefinite period. Once we break the cell's activity pattern, the length of human life will change and achieving immortality will be possible. Different environments, different life cycles. I once worked in the Chilean mountains at an altitude of nearly 4,000 meters for a year and noticed an interesting phenomenon. The higher the altitude, the shorter the growth cycle of the same type of plants. There is no doubt that the environment in which life exists can alter its lifespan. The harsher the living environment, the longer time seems to stretch, and life feels like enduring days as if they were years. Wu Zishu's hair turned white overnight when he passed through the Zhao Pass in a state of anxiety. Conversely, the more favorable the living environment, the shorter time seems to become, like the saying, a day in heaven, a year on earth. Lifespan is related to mindset. When a person is extremely angry, their metabolism accelerates, and they age rapidly. The more frequently one gets angry, the faster they age. Similarly, people who are selfish, jealous, resentful, anxious, fearful, worried, negative, and pessimistic age quickly. In contrast, those who are calm, peaceful, joyful, happy, positive, and optimistic age more slowly. Celestial beings and Buddhas live long lives, while humans live short lives because their mindsets are entirely different. Turning certainties into variables. Everything in the universe follows a fixed pattern. Pregnancy lasts 10 months, and birth occurs in a single day. The seasonal cycle, spring, rain, awakening of insects, and the vernal equinox, unfolds in its time. From infancy, childhood, adolescence, youth, to old age, the seasons of life arrive as expected. A year has 365 days, a day has 24 hours. Flowers bloom and wither, tides rise and fall. These are governed by set movement patterns, or what we call time. When these patterns change, time changes, and when time changes, certainties become variables. The clock that controls cell division is the telomere. With each division, the telomere shortens. When it can no longer shorten, the cell stops dividing, and life in that cell ceases. Our task is to prevent telomeres from shortening further. If all cells behave like cancer cells, human life could last as long as the sun and moon, allowing us to transcend time and space in our current form. Nothing is impossible, only things that the mind has yet to comprehend. Changing the movement pattern alters certainties, changes fate, and transcends time and space. Inputting information to change movement. The hypothalamus regulates the human aging process. When the pituitary gland atrophies, the body ages rapidly. If we can rejuvenate the aging pituitary gland, we can restore the functions of the nervous, endocrine, and metabolic systems, delay joint and organ aging, and ultimately realize the dream of reversing aging and living forever. The atrophy of the pituitary gland is related to the information it receives. By changing the input, we can revitalize the gland. When a person encounters a joyful event, their spirit brightens. A joyful event is just a piece of information. A person in despair who receives this information can instantly dispel suicidal thoughts and recover their spirit, even returning from the brink of death. Conversely, continuous bad news can crush a person's will and spirit, leaving them lifeless. Food, medicine, and words are all forms of information. A conversation with a sage is worth 10 years of study. One conversation can be worth 10 years of study. This is a way of transcending time and space. Many people spend years chasing dreams and exploring, only to have everything clarified in a few words from someone wiser. The sea of bitterness has no bounds. Turn your head to see the shore, and searching for him thousands of times, I suddenly find him in the dim light. This leap beyond time and space shows that while many people toil their whole lives pursuing ideals and die with regrets, others achieve success effortlessly. The difference lies in their relationship with time and space. You take 10 years to accomplish something, while I complete the same task in 1 year. Haven't I transcended 9 years of time and space? If someone meets an enlightened master, a celestial in human form, and listens to their teachings, they can transcend human limitations and enter celestial realms, transcending time and space. Restructuring. When structure changes, the essence of life changes. The processes of growth and decay shift, and life can be revitalized, transforming decay into magic. Restructuring means rearranging atoms. Bodily changes are essentially chemical reactions. Oxygen combines with copper to form copper oxide. Oxygen combines with iron to form iron oxide. People who live with pigs may become like pigs. Those who live with celestials may become like human celestials. The elements entering the body determine the chemical changes that occur. Poison kills, but an elixir grants immortality. Grafting pear branches onto an apple tree produces apple pears. Living in the same environment with the same people, culture, and diet, or remaining in the same mindset, prevents restructuring. Life requires constant change. A person thrives by moving. A tree dies by being transplanted. As long as there is change, there is life. Ask the canal how it stays so clear, because it is fed by a source of living water. Injecting living water into a pond keeps it clear and vibrant. Otherwise, it stagnates. Constant change is, in fact, a way to transcend time and space. Inertia is human nature, resisting change and clinging to the familiar. To restructure, we must overcome inertia. Enhancing vibrational frequency. The energy released by an atomic bomb is enough to destroy an entire city. If 100 kilograms of matter were completely converted into energy, it could turn the Earth into a sea of fire. This energy comes from the vibration frequency of photons within atoms. The higher the vibration frequency, the greater the energy. People who only act when pushed and stay motionless otherwise have little energy. From the holographic perspective, a butterfly flapping its wings in Alaska can cause a storm at the Cape of Good Hope. This is vibration at work. The higher the frequency, the greater the impact. To raise our vibration frequency, we must sharpen our thinking. People who are too slow and dull find it hard to raise their frequency. Some people, when taught one thing, learn only that. Others, when taught one thing, think critically and learn several things. Some even deduce entire systems. This illustrates different vibrational frequencies. The purpose of raising the vibration frequency is not to increase energy, but to achieve a seamless and rapid transcendence of time and space. From my experiences living in the second home, I have found that some brothers and sisters have a high vibration frequency, embodying the saying, hearts resonate with each other. They can adapt and live gracefully, freely, and effortlessly in the home in a very short time. Holographic management is quickly realized among these individuals. Conversely, some people have a vibration frequency that is too low. Despite my repeated explanations of many concepts, they still cannot grasp them. They struggle with very simple things, such as don't interfere with others' hearts or manage others' affairs, strive for excellence in everything, and if others do not seek my help, I will not assist them. Such simple principles, such simple tasks, yet they still cannot accomplish them. As a result, guiding them is exhausting, making it impossible to transcend time and space. The future is determined by the present. What can transcend time and space and move freely within infinity? The answer is thought. Thought is the spark of consciousness. The universe is one, and it operates holographically, meaning a single thought can penetrate the entire universe. Everything in the present is shaped by past thoughts, and the future is shaped by our current thoughts. Thoughts include visualization, which I've emphasized in the chapter on visualized thinking. Therefore, everyone's current thoughts and intentions play a crucial role in shaping the future. Your thoughts must be beautiful to create a beautiful future. By continually releasing beautiful intentions, you can transcend time and space to create a continuous series of wonderful futures for yourself, effectively crafting an endless drama for your life. It is essential to guard against negative thoughts slipping out of your consciousness. Once a harmful thought escapes, trouble will follow. Transcending time and space to seize the future. Buddha said, "The past mind cannot be grasped, the present mind cannot be grasped, and the future mind cannot be grasped." This is wrong. Many believe the past is gone and the future is out of reach, so we can only seize the present. This is a misunderstanding. Once you transcend time and space, everything is within your control. The Tao is a synthesis of laws, principles, and operational processes. The universe is orderly because of the Tao. Without the Tao, there is no order. If one does not recognize the Tao, life and worldly affairs seem impermanent and chaotic. However, once one understands the Tao, everything appears orderly and harmonious. By considering the characteristics of a peach tree, if you plant a peach sapling in suitable soil, you can predict the size of the tree in 3 to 4 years. You can see the peaches that will grow on the tree, and in 3 to 4 years, you will be able to eat the peaches. This is how one grasps the future. The present can't be grasped, it can only be experienced. Only the future can be seized. If you want to determine how you will live years, decades, centuries, or even millions of years from now, you must seize it now. Don't wait until the future to act. It will be too late. The past is an illusion, the present is fixed, but the future is real. Whether you can see it depends on whether your Dharma eye or Buddha eye is open. Once you understand this, you can grasp the future now and see it as clearly as if it were happening before you. Unsurpassable time and space. While time and space can be transcended, not all aspects of them can be. If you exceed the speed of light, you may enter the future or return to the past. Sometimes, in dreams, we can visit the future or revisit the past. But can someone travel back in time before they were born and kill their mother, thereby preventing their own birth? Or can you travel back to when your mother was 1 year old and kill her, thus stopping your arrival in this world? This creates a paradox. If someone could transcend time and space and go back to kill the girl destined to be their mother, then they would not be born on Earth. Since they have already killed the girl, they themselves would not exist. But then, who traveled back in time to kill their mother? The conclusion is that this paradox does not exist. Some aspects of time and space cannot be transcended. One cannot go back in time and kill their yet-to-be-born mother. Time and space are not illusions. Time is merely a concept, a symbol to describe the state of an object's movement. However, once we define the movement of matter as time, it is born. It is no longer an illusion. Space describes the relative distance between matter and matter, or between non-material and non-material entities. Since the universe is made of matter and non-material elements, space absolutely exists. It is not an illusion. Ignoring the existence of time and space makes it impossible to transcend them. Only by confronting time and space, not imagining them to be illusions, can we hope to surpass them. It's like wanting to cross a river. First, you must face the turbulent current. Then, you either learn to swim, build a raft, or construct a bridge to cross the river. If you imagine the river doesn't exist and is just an illusion, you will not only fail to cross it, but you may also be swept away or even drown. Conclusion. Transcending time and space is a highly complex matter. Aspiring to escape the 3 realms, transcend the 5 elements, and break free from the boundaries of heaven and earth is beyond the reach of ordinary people. It cannot be accomplished through imagination, nor can it be achieved by practicing certain exercises, gong, taking specific medications, receiving energy, or retreating into meditation. This is a vast and intricate system. Idealists are bound to fail, and materialists stand no chance. Only through holographic thinking and holographic methods can one hope to embark on the path of transcending time and space. In fact, the predecessor of Life Genuine was called The Journey of Transcending Time and Space. As the guide, I am leading everyone along this path. It's impossible to explain how to transcend time and space through words, Just as it's impossible to teach someone to swim through words alone, you must enter the water to have any hope of learning. Similarly, you cannot transcend time and space merely by reading the Life-Changuan corpus or the Xiefeng corpus. Sporadic guidance and explanations from this text alone won't suffice. You must enter the second home. Even then, it's not guaranteed that you will transcend time and space. You must walk the path outlined by the guide, step by step, with solid footing. Relying on talk, understanding, connections, emotions, or luck will not work. Even praising and glorifying the guide is futile. You yourself must become light, become love, become a Buddha, and become a celestial. Looking back at what we leave behind. Xiefeng, October 3, 2024. The International Life-Changuan Family's vacation retreat includes, along with its main building, 7 wooden guest cabins. This 回首看自己路上留下了什么. Looking back at what we leave behind. Xiefeng, October 3, 2024. The International Life-Changuan Family's vacation retreat includes, along with its main building, 7 wooden guest cabins. This morning, I went to tidy cabin 1 by the lake. Upon entering, I was first met with a pile of half-burned firewood scattered by the stove, with shavings strewn all over. Near the sink lay a stack of unwashed pots and dishes, and in the 2 bedrooms, the beds were in complete disarray. One pillow had a large, unsightly stain. Removing the pillowcase revealed that the pillow itself was similarly soiled. A once white tablecloth was nowhere to be found, until I later discovered it crumpled and filthy, stuffed into a folding cot behind the door. In 7 years of managing these cabins, this experience left one of the deepest impressions on me. I could almost sense the level of civility and quality of life of the guests who had stayed here. Just as Sherlock Holmes deduced the crime scene and profile of the criminal from subtle clues, we too can discern a person's character, especially their civility, refinement, and depth of spirit, from the traces they leave behind. With this in mind, each of us should take a moment to look back and examine what we've left on our journey through life. Are we leaving behind flowers or thorns? Are we remembered with praise or with curses? Are we inspiring longing or rejection? Are we leaving fond memories or causing people to shy away? Is our path marked by light or by darkness? Are we leaving behind hope or despair? Are we creating beautiful memories or a trail of nightmares? Are we shaping a heavenly path or one that resembles a path to hell? It's essential to reflect. If our path is filled with beauty, then we are walking toward heaven. But if it's filled with disdain and curses, marked by ugliness, then hell is not far off. Christianity speaks of a final judgment. But how will we be judged, and on what basis? Judgment will rest upon the traces each of us leaves behind, day by day, step by step. Seeing within from the outside. Xiefeng, September 30th, 2024. You cannot see the true face of Mount Lu simply because you are within the mountain. When you're inside, the truth remains elusive. In the late Qing dynasty, the high-ranking official Li Hongzhang visited the United States. He saw skyscrapers, highways filled with cars, men in suits, and women in fashionable attire. After returning to China, he was almost silent. Why? The difference between America and China was overwhelming. China had no tall buildings or cars. Men still wore long robes with queues, and women bound their feet. Without an external perspective, one could hardly recognize the backwardness, ignorance, stubbornness, and isolation that characterized China at that time. 30 years ago, I traveled to Zimbabwe. Waking up in a villa to the sound of chirping birds, I was amazed. People lived so comfortably here, in spacious homes with green lawns, vibrant flowers, and clear swimming pools. I decided never to return to China. Later, I spent over a year in a modest, remote place called Kyookyo. Here, local Africans led simple lives with humble homes, basic food, and a relaxed lifestyle. They spent their days singing, dancing, and playing, living freely and happily. Though simply dressed, they kept themselves meticulously clean, often washing their clothes daily. Their floors were spotless, their lives simple but free and joyful. Looking back at China, life seemed excessively burdensome, with outer polish masking inner struggles. After arriving in North America and learning about Western history over the past few centuries, I gained a new perspective on China's history. Lu Sun was right. China's history is a cannibalistic history. Claims of China's glorious 5,000-year culture often mask a harsh reality. This history reflects an inhumane nature. Everyone was enslaved, including emperors controlled by power. Beyond music and landscape painting, China's cultural legacy is frankly a mess. However, when you look closer, Chinese history is filled with talent. The intellect of the Chinese people rivals that of any nation. If Chinese people were allowed to freely express their creativity without repression, China would undoubtedly excel globally. Thus, we must be vigilant. As Chinese people, if we remain unaware of life outside China or of the developments in Western science, philosophy, and sociology, we will live in a space where right and wrong, true and false, black and white, are blurred. Our life perspectives, values, and worldviews become chaotic and inhumane. So, when an isolated Chinese person believes they are right, they are likely profoundly mistaken. On WeChat's video channel, I frequently encounter people's views, especially from well-known figures. They discuss human nature, advise against its flaws, advocate overcoming adversity, or crossing class boundaries. These teachings seem to encourage people not to be human, but to become wolves, ghosts, or monsters. As a result, I feel deeply pessimistic about China's future. Does this mean that developed countries like the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, or Japan are flawless? Not at all. From the perspective of the thousand-year world, they, too, appear disturbingly flawed. Seen from the highly civilized Elysium world, Earth appears like a hell brimming with monsters and demons, akin to a prison for the condemned. Humanity remains far from true civilization. Let's now narrow the focus to individuals. The hardest thing in the world is to know oneself. Among billions globally, few truly know themselves. Many perceive others clearly but struggle to see themselves. All those who stubbornly cling to their beliefs, who assert their correctness, and who are self-centered are fundamentally ignorant about themselves and are among the hardest to save. To truly understand oneself, one must step outside their immediate environment, be it the earth, their nation, culture, or humanity. Only from an external perspective can one see things clearly. To truly see oneself, one must first identify a reference point in the coordinate system of life. Without a reference, we remain self-assured but muddled, no different from animals, plants, or insects. The Secret of Borrowing Strength from Heaven's Timing. Xiefeng, November 12, 2022. Edited by Qin Yu. When the timing of the heavens is off, the sun and moon lack radiance. When the timing of the earth is off, plants do not thrive. When the timing of water is off, waves are not calm. When the timing for people is off, fortune cannot flow. Rhapsody on Dwelling in the Mountains. The timing of heaven is a subtle mechanism, and the opportune moment aligns with the way of heaven. When the right moment arrives, all things respond and flourish. When it passes, all phenomena follow its rhythm and wither away. Humans possess an innate ability to perceive the subtleties of heaven's timing. By aligning with it, they experience smooth progress and prosperity, whereas opposing it leads to stagnation and difficulty. Heaven's timing is beyond human control or manipulation. The only way to thrive is by aligning with its rhythm and circumstances. There is a saying, times create heroes, yet it applies not only to heroes but also to the wealthy, tyrants, experts, and scholars. Both fame and fortune arise from seizing opportune moments, as do disasters and misfortunes. Ignorant people fail to understand heaven's timing, and those who defy it go against the way of the Tao. Even if one possesses vast knowledge and dreams of shaping the universe, going against heaven's timing stifles their abilities and ambitions. Meanwhile, petty individuals who align with heaven's timing may still find themselves with luxury and grandeur. Those who understand the secrets of seizing opportune moments act with humility, avoiding calamities. Arrogant individuals who rely on their talents without understanding heaven's timing will inevitably face setbacks. A person's talents are shaped by the times. Without favorable conditions, talent cannot emerge. During the Cultural Revolution, for example, there were no private entrepreneurs. The idea that heroes create their own opportunities is a misconception. Without favorable timing, a hero may appear as a thug, while favorable timing can instantly elevate a thug to hero status. Natural timing and social timing differ. Natural timing includes the changing of seasons, which humans can only follow, not alter. Social timing, however, arises from cycles of cause and effect. When negative karma exceeds a critical threshold, the timing turns adverse. When positive efforts surpass a threshold, it turns favorable. For individuals, humility and respect for natural timing equate to reverence for nature. When social timing conflicts with one's nature, it's wise to conceal one's talents and bide one's time. When social timing aligns with one's nature, it's essential to seize the opportunity to fully realize one's abilities. Such chances may never return. There are major and minor opportune moments. Major moments affect global scales, like the universal use of masks, while minor ones affect local events, such as Ukraine's invasion, causing migration. To follow heaven's timing is to borrow its power and seize opportune moments. Migratory birds follow the timing of heaven, private entrepreneurs rise with it, and studying abroad to start a business benefits from its support. If social timing closes a country's borders, how can one fulfill the desire to go abroad? Thus, in countless threads and fibers, its essence remains unchanged. Let it gather and disperse as it may. The willow catkins still gracefully sways. Don't mock the fleeting beauty of spring's soft fluff, for it has no roots yet endures the gusty stuff. With a favorable wind as my guide, I ascend high and bright, riding on good fortune, soaring to great heights. When the sky is clear, dry the grass. When the iron is hot, strike it. Noble people are hard to encounter. When you do, show respect. Good timing is rare. When it arrives, seize it. Missing opportune moments leads to regret and disappointment. The transformation of life requires a complete metamorphosis. Xiefeng, July 22, 2024. The journey from human to celestial is a leap in life, a transformation from one form to another, requiring a complete metamorphosis. What is metamorphosis? A butterfly emerges from a caterpillar. The process of transforming from a caterpillar into a butterfly is metamorphosis, marking a leap in life. Recently, I was amazed to witness an extraordinary phenomenon. Some dandelions at the Leifechanuan International Family's North American retreat have transformed into plantains. This seems almost unimaginable, especially as the dandelions lining the paths to individual cabins have mostly turned into plantains. This marvel of nature also offers a revelation from the Tao. Dandelions are abundant throughout the retreat, densely covering the grasslands and slopes. When they bloom, they turn the ground into a sea of gold, a beautiful sight. But once these golden blossoms turn to white fluff, their parachute-like seeds drift with the wind, often sticking to window screens and becoming a nuisance. Some time ago, I visited Bella Coola and noticed that, within an hour's drive, there wasn't a single dandelion in sight. I thought, how wonderful it would be if our retreat could also be free of dandelions. Amazingly, some of the dandelions at the retreat began to change, undergoing a metamorphosis into plantains, a plant I cherish not only for its medicinal seeds, but also for its edible leaves. In spring, I used to gather plantain leaves to make a tangy dish. The caterpillar crawling on the ground undergoes metamorphosis, emerging as a butterfly that dances among mountain blossoms. Similarly, dandelions can transform into plantains, plants that hold more value. These transformations inspire us to realize that people, too, can undergo metamorphosis and reach a celestial state. Every metamorphosis signifies a leap in life. For humans, this celestial metamorphosis requires only 6 words of wisdom: unselfish, selfless, and free from attachment. Self-centeredness, ego, and attachment characterize the human state, while unselfishness, selflessness, and detachment define the celestial state. When someone reaches a state of unselfishness, selflessness, and detachment, they have achieved metamorphosis. They are like a caterpillar transformed into a butterfly or a dandelion into a plantain, and are ready to ascend to a celestial realm, embracing a life beyond the ordinary. Even in this world, Those who live unselfishly, selflessly, and without attachment are already living the celestial life, not an earthly one. Many members of Life Genuine currently embody this truth, and used medicines are the best medicines. Xiefeng. Prepare for a rainy day and prevent problems before they arise. Many of us keep basic and emergency medicines at home. Those for colds and fevers, injuries and bruises, pain relief, calming, digestive issues, and liver relief. Over time, these medicines accumulate in drawers. Some have been used only a little, while others remain unopened. Every now and then, I find myself staring at expired medicines and wondering, which of them was truly the most valuable? Medicines are meant to preserve health and deal with emergencies. If a medicine is used, it means the body has faced some issue. If a medicine remains untouched, it signifies the body stayed healthy and free from any acute illness. In this light, even though some medicines have expired and used, the fact that they were never needed is the best outcome. A hunter venturing into the wild might carry something like Yunnan Baiyao in case of an animal bite, but in his heart, the hunter hopes he'll never have to use it, because needing it would mean serious trouble. The medicines that ultimately expire and are thrown away are the best medicines. Their value lies in the fact that the body never needed them. This idea brings to mind friendship. Friends are an intangible wealth in life. When we face difficulties or emergencies, a true friend steps in at just the right moment. Having close friends brings a sense of calm and security. Knowing they're always by your side gives you strength. I take pride in my friendships, and whenever I tell others about my friends, I feel a deep sense of joy and pride. Friends are my source of pride. But just as the best medicine is the one that was never used, the best friends are those who never had to help me. If a friend never needed to assist me throughout life, it shows that I was capable enough to handle my own problems. Not needing help from a friend over the course of a lifetime is a great honor. I will keep some medicines in reserve, but I hope I never have to use them. I will treasure friendships, but I hope I never have to rely on them. Similarly, I wish to always be able to help others and benefit them, but I hope never to need others' help myself. After all, experiencing loss is the greatest gain, while seeking advantage is the greatest loss. In this way, I can ensure my life has no deficits, and I will be able to leave this world peacefully with a clear conscience. 生命的寄托, the sustenance of life. Xiefeng. Laozi, the sage, once said, "He who values his body as the world may be entrusted with the world. He who loves the world as he loves his body may be entrusted with the world." This means that the world can be entrusted to those who cherish the lives of others as much as they cherish their own. The idea of entrusting the world might seem far removed from the lives of ordinary people, so let us reflect on where we place the trust for our own lives. The most precious thing in the world is life. Likewise, the most valuable part of human existence is also life. If life requires a foundation, where should we place our trust for our lives? In what or whom should we entrust our lives? Guan Yu and Zhang Fei entrusted their lives to Liu Bei, just as Liu Bei and King Wu of the Zhou dynasty entrusted their lives to Zhuge Liang and Jiang Ziya. Historically, the common people of China often entrusted their lives to wise rulers. While this kind of trust is admirable, it is also illusory. Some people place their lives in the hands of their spouses, wives relying on their husbands, and husbands relying on their wives. This kind of dependence is risky. Some devote their lives to their immediate families, believing that as long as their family endures, so does their life. But if the family falls apart, so does their existence. Some people place their trust in wealth, toiling from dawn till dusk for money, believing that only wealth offers security, thinking that once they have money, all problems can be solved. Others pour their lives into their jobs, companies, or personal achievements, focusing all their efforts on career advancement, company growth, and professional success. However, when their status is lost, their company goes bankrupt, or their career declines, their sense of life fades too. Some place their lives in the hands of their mentors, while others attach themselves to political parties, religions, ethnic groups, or nations. They cry out for their master's honor or sacrifice their lives for their party, religion, ethnicity, or nation. This is life's confusion. To place your trust in a spouse, in others, in money or power, in family, political parties, religions, ethnic groups, or nations is to place it in something as fragile as a mirage in the sky. Such trust will inevitably lead to disappointment, for these things may disappear at any moment. How can we entrust our precious lives to people or things that are doomed to pass away? Floods can rise to the heavens, but they are temporary. Enterprises may flourish, but they too can vanish like smoke. Even the mightiest empires have been buried in the ruins of history, and once great figures have been forgotten in the shifting tides of time. We, as beings of life, cannot place our existence in things that are not eternal. There is one thing, however, that is eternal. From the distant past to the boundless future, it remains constant and selfless. Its form may change, but its essence never does. Whether in the past, present, or future, if we are willing, we can always rely on it. This is where we should entrust our lives. That eternal thing is the Tao. It is what we have always longed for. Because it is eternal, when we entrust our lives to the Tao, our lives can become eternal too. What is the Tao? The Tao is the consciousness of the greatest creator, the spirit of the greatest creator. To entrust your life to the Tao means to entrust it to the consciousness and spirit of the greatest creator. To put it simply, we should entrust our lives to the greatest creator. Only Christ Jesus and the Buddha Shakyamuni have truly valued the world and loved all life. They gave up everything, dedicating their entire lives to the suffering masses. We can entrust our lives to the greatest creator by listening to the teachings of Jesus and Shakyamuni, which will guide us in realizing this goal. Shakyamuni devoted his life to creating a vessel for eternal life, and if we board this vessel, we are sure to reach the ideal shore of existence. Jesus Christ, with his precious blood, has shown us the direction of life. Only those who follow the will of my Father in heaven can enter the kingdom of heaven and attain eternal life. This is where we place the trust of our lives. By boarding the vessel created by Shakyamuni and following the direction illuminated by Jesus Christ, we can draw closer to the greatest creator. Closer, ever closer. 悟道、求道、正道、得道、守道. The path of understanding, seeking, realizing, attaining, and upholding the way. Xiefeng. Understanding, seeking, realizing, attaining, and upholding the way, Tao, are the paths to the sublimation of life. Understanding the way means perceiving the laws governing the universe and the origins of all things, the principles behind phenomena, and the mysteries of the universe, space-time, life, and life, referring to the deeper, spiritual essence of existence, as opposed to everyday physical life. Seeking the way with this understanding, guiding one to form a worldview, philosophy of life and set of values. Realizing the way involves repeatedly verifying, through personal practice, whether one's worldview, life philosophy, and values align with the way's laws and evolutionary processes. Attaining the way means that one has comprehended the profound mysteries of the universe, life, and has established an unshakable and correct worldview, life philosophy, and values. Upholding the way means living and practicing according to these established principles, regardless of life's changes. Whether the external world is harmonious or chaotic, one remains steadfast in faith and belief. As the saying goes, stand firm through countless trials, no matter where the winds blow, and let the storm rage. Remain calm, as if sitting securely in a boat. Jesus' teaching that only those who endure to the end will be saved captures the essence of upholding the way. Life's journey is sometimes filled with sunshine and smooth sailing, but at other times it's stormy and filled with obstacles. At times, one feels as though they are riding on clouds in sheer bliss, while at other times, they face hardships and struggles. Some things come effortlessly, while other efforts end in vain. Even siblings born to the same parents may find their fates diverge wildly. University graduates from the same school may experience either smooth sailing in their careers or constant setbacks. Those adorned in silk and brocade are not necessarily the ones who raise the silkworms. A 3-year-old might sit on the throne, while warriors die far from home. A neighbor may enjoy lavish feasts and grand parties, while one's own home endures hardships and desolation. Is it fate? Is it luck? Who controls the destiny of this vast earth? Life's journey is full of twists and turns. Why do we say, man plans, but heaven decides? Meaning that while people can make their own plans, the ultimate outcome is determined by a higher power or the forces of fate beyond human control. Where is heaven, and how does it relate to my destiny? Such contemplation is the beginning of understanding the way. When one continuously contemplates the universe and its mysteries, clarity will one day come. Just as wood rubbed together creates fire and heat can cause water to boil, the heavenly bodies follow their paths, and human life operates by cause and effect. No wind, no waves. Fortune and misfortune are the results of human actions. The endless changes in the world reflect deeper laws. It's easy to go with the flow, but hard to swim against it. A life of confusion leads to futile struggles, while clarity brings contentment. Acceptance of things as they are avoids disaster, while following the natural flow brings joy. Rather than seeking fame and fortune, seek to live with a clear conscience, in harmony with the heavens, earth, and the times. Those who seek divinity and truth find peace of mind. This is seeking the way. How did the universe begin? Does the greatest creator exist? Is there an invisible hand guiding the evolution of all things? Who is this being, and what is my relationship to it? In the debate between creationism and evolution, who is right? Is it the theologians or the scientists? We must align with the laws of heaven. But where can these laws be found? Everything is connected. How does this interaction occur? The balance of yin and yang is truth, but where is the non-material world? Is death the end of life, or is it a new beginning? What is the evidence? What should be the primary goal of life? How do we prioritize our pursuits? How should we best manage our relationships with others, with society, and with nature? Those who explore these questions are engaged in realizing the way. Rope saws through wood, and water drops where away stone. In time, progress occurs naturally, just as fruit ripens and falls when ready. Among 1,000 searches, I suddenly turned back and found her in the dim light. Diligence is always rewarded, and the gods favor the sincere. Suddenly, a flash of enlightenment connects everything. A pure heart invites celestial beings, and the universe becomes clear. One sees the mysteries of the greatest creator, glimpses the kingdom of heaven, and realizes that life is a journey, and the universe is infinite. One can now ascend to heavenly realms and reach the shores of bliss, living in eternal joy. This is the sign that you have attained the way. Day and night alternate, and demons, gods, and Buddhas are always close at hand. In yin, there is yang. In yang, there is yin. The higher the mountain, the greater the peril. The deeper one dives, the greater the pressure. There is no free lunch, and precious treasures are never cheap. The path to eternal life is narrow. One must give up attachments to this life to attain the divine. One must let go of the ego to cross the river of life. After attaining the way, challenges and temptations are ever present. Will you hold your ground until the end? If you can, you will emerge from the darkness into light. But a moment's retreat can lead to failure and wasted efforts. Attaining the way is easy. Upholding it is difficult. Always hold the hand of the greatest creator, listen to the teachings of Jesus and the Buddha, and follow closely behind the guide, lest the devil mislead you. This is what it means to uphold the way. This is the path to the sublimation of life, understanding, seeking, realizing, attaining, and upholding the way. John 180 度看风景如何? How about turning 180 degrees to see the scenery? Xiefeng. The troubles we face in life all stem from our own thoughts. When we can't figure things out, it's because we're tied up by mental knots. All suffering comes from our own mistaken perceptions,